Everybody can hear you also.
All right, ready to go. Call the meeting to order at 6:30 p.m. We'll start with roll call.
Troy Griggs.
Jim Welch.
Brian Griffin.
We'll move into citizens' comments. Open those up at 6:30 p.m. With no public here. We'll also close them at 6:30 p.m. We'll move into item 4, the approval of the minutes. In the packet, we have the minutes from the special called meeting on May 13th, 2026. Read those, look for any errors or comments, and we can move towards approval.
Everybody's read them. I moved to approve the minutes.
Have a motion, have a second.
Second.
Motion is second. Those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. All right, now we'll move into item 5, discussion. 5A is the discussion of section 6 and 7 of the draft sign ordinance to gather feedback and guide future revisions.
Okay, and I'm going to apologize. I did y'all's packets backwards, so you're going to have to flip to the next agenda report, and that will have the backup for the signs and signage. Okay, so today we're going to be going over, and they're pretty short sections, but the next one's pretty lengthy, so I may have to divide the two because we're trying to take bite-sized portions of this. So the first section is section 6, administrative and planning, and the second one is going to be general regulations. First, section 6, administration and planning. So this section establishes a comprehensive administrative process for sign permits, and this is including sign requirements, signs requiring permits, permit application requirements, permit review timelines, permit expiration, inspections, appeals, contractor registration, contractor insurance requirements, permit fees, and penalties for work performed without the permit. So really it's just, just the paperwork part of it. Let's see. So one of the, so we're going to just go through the major differences from the current ordinance to the draft ordinance. The first one is there's a clear administrative review timeline. This requires staff to determine whether an application is complete within 10 days. This requires action on complete applications within 30 days and establishes procedure for incomplete applications and rejected permits. That's pretty good. We already do that as in our permitting department. Our review already meets all of these requirements, so it's not like we're putting a burden on ourselves or anything like that. It's just also good to put it in language so the applicants know what to expect. So it also establishes a formal appeal process. This is already in the existing ordinance. It's just kind of not in it's the language is spread out everywhere. So what this draft ordinance does is put it all in one section. And so the draft establishes a formal appeal process for denied permits through the Planning and Zoning Commission, which is the current process as it stands right now. It also establishes that the Historic Landmark Commission will review any signs that are applicable to that district. So it just states in there that if it's in the historic district, then the HLC will be the ones reviewing that permit first before it can even be reviewed by our permitting department. And then the fourth one is contractor registration. This is not anything out of the ordinary. We already require sign technicians to register as a contractor. And there's an annual contractor registration, proof of insurance, and authority to suspend registrations for repeated violations. We already do all of that. Like I said, it's just kind of tightening the language and bringing it into one section. And then inspections, we already do inspections. One thing that it does introduce is a 6-month completion requirement. Even though it's introducing that, we already have that listed on any building permit that we give to somebody. So it's not a new requirement. It's just that it's not stated in the current sign ordinance. Just so they know upfront that it's only good for 6 months. Anything moving forward, they can request an extension if there's something's happening. But most of the time, they're able to complete them within those 6 months or make progress with them within those 6 months. And then just the permit expiration procedures. So that's all for section 6. I know I kind of went through that quickly, but do y'all have any questions about it? No? Pretty straightforward, right?
Paperwork is paperwork.
Paperwork is paperwork, yeah.
I have one question on item 3,
Yes.
where it goes to the Historic Landmark Commission review. So somebody wanting to put a sign up in a historic district would have to hit a HLC meeting as opposed to city staff reviewing. Is that because don't we have a third party historic archaeologist or somebody that reviews stuff, or no?
We do. We have a historic preservation officer, but she can't make the determination herself. It still has to go to the HLC for approval at this point.
Oh, okay.
That is one of the things that they're looking at in the future if they ever do revise those guidelines, is giving the HPO a little bit more authority to approve certain things that maybe they don't need to see. Signage was one of the things they spoke about, but as of right now, it still has to go through HLC.
Okay. So it go through a HLC meeting, gets approved, then it gets reviewed by city staff, by your department for the permit.
That's correct.
And then once it's approved, that's it. Unless they appeal a disapproval, then it would come to P&Z.
That's correct.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. And sometimes if they feel confident that they're not going to get any feedback from HLC, they'll try and run those concurrently. So they'll submit their HLC, wait for that meeting, but they'll also submit, because if it's a pole sign or something that has electrical, it still has to go through plan review. And they'll say, you know what, we'll take our chances. We're going to send that to plan review, because if anything, if the facade's only changing or a color, that's not going to change the integrity of the sign or the structural, and we can just do an amendment to the plans that were submitted. So sometimes they'll run concurrently if they're in a rush.
Okay. Good. So you can have a parallel process as opposed to linear.
That's correct.
HLC city staff, you could run both.
Yeah, I just make sure to tell them, but if they don't approve it, that goes out the window unless you do the appeal process, which also takes time.
Right.
But I haven't run into, I don't think, any issues with that.
Okay.
All right, so there's no further questions. We'll go on to section 7, and this is just general regulations. Okay, so section 7 establishes just the general standards applicable to all signs regardless of sign type. So just general compliance, sign location, construction standards, maintenance requirements, visibility requirements, and illumination standards. So I'm going to go through the major differences from the current ordinance to the draft. And so one is it's just consolidating all the general standards, because right now each individual sign in y'all's current draft ordinance, in y'all's current ordinance, have just the same language over and over, providing those general standards instead of just putting it in a section before. So this is just putting it in the section beforehand. And so, like I said, rather than repeating similar standards throughout multiple sign types, it's just in the section prior. The second is a construction standard. So the draft requires that all permanent signs meet adopted building codes, meet electrical codes, be permanently attached, and be constructed of durable materials. That's already a requirement right now. We just don't have that listed in our current chapter 24. I think it does say it has to be permanently attached, but it doesn't say all the building codes that are applicable for that sign. Visibility requirements just add specific language prohibiting signs that obstruct vehicle sight distance and pedestrian visibility. There are current provisions that already exist in the ordinance, but the draft just presents them in a more clear and more concise format. Illumination standards, this is something that is a little bit different. We do have a little bit of language in the current ordinance about illumination, but this establishes that maximum nighttime brightness of 750 nits, and that's in keeping line with what we had talked about when we started this process, is trying to keep it within that dark skies compliance, and that's what they recommend for dark skies if we're going to move forward as a dark skies community in the future. And this also requires electronic signs capable of exceeding that brightness to have an automatic dimming control, and then requires compliance with nighttime brightness beginning 1/2 hour before sunset and continuing until sunrise. Of course.
What will we be doing? I mean, if this is adopted for some of the signs that currently are probably not in compliance, are they just going to be generally grandfathered in, or will there be some notification for those folks?
So if I remember correctly, we went through the non-conforming signage. I think that was section 3, and I think it depends on. Gosh, I'd love to get this into email format and send it over to you, but either there's a length of time like 6 months that they can take to fix that problem, or it's whenever that sign is being either re-erected or reconstructed, then it has to meet that requirement, but I can't remember which one it is for the illumination part. Yeah. So I can get
I
that.
can think of about 3 signs.
Yeah.
Not
So-
to be compliant.
But to make sure y'all have all the information, I will go ahead and make sure which one it is for illumination specifically, and then get that information to y'all.
Okay.
Okay. And then let's see. Hold on, I just want to write that down. Okay, so right-of-way restrictions. So the draft reiterates that signs are prohibited within the right-of-way unless specifically authorized, which we would never do because most of the highway 9-inch frontage is text dot right-of-way anyways. They would just go bulldoze that thing down. So this already consists in the current ordinance, but it's just been simplified and clarified in this section. And that's it for section 7. So do y'all have any questions for me while y'all are going through this?
So where did y'all get the recommendation of 750 nits? Where does that come from?
That comes the dark skies. There is a I don't want to say foundation, but there's like the Hill Country Alliance. They have like I don't want to say requirements, but recommended lighting standards that you adopt. And like I said, that's because if you do want to become a dark skies community in the future, you have to already show progress showing that you're doing something on your end to get there.
Yeah, the only reason I ask is because that number doesn't mean anything to me.
It means
I don't know what that
it
means.
means nothing to
So,
me either.
Okay,
So that's
and
what
there's somebody that puts a recommendation out that you get that.
It probably equates to some sort of lumen
yeah. So
equivalent, I'm guessing.
I'm guessing too, but I don't know either. I'm sorry.
So
We all have homework then.
Yeah. So go look up what 750 nits on a computer looks like, and they're like, we can't show you that.
how does the city check that on the sign that comes in?
So there is and I had asked this one time, I think when I was at an actual Hill Country Alliance workshop, and they have where you like almost like a radar where you can like shoot it at it, and it'll tell you in both like nits and lumens what that is. Do we have that? I don't know. So if we're going to move forward with adopting these dark sky regulations, we probably have to invest in one. So.
And I would guess that would fall upon our ordinance code compliance folks, or
Yeah, it would fall into code compliance. I mean, I'll do an Amazon search to see how much they cost, and if I need to take it out of my budget, I will. But but if we move through with adoption, whenever we get there, then that's something that they'll probably have to invest in. And it's probably not going to even be so much code compliance using it as maybe a police one of the
So I was gonna
officers.
say it's gonna be after hours.
Yeah, I would say
Unless,
more than likely it'll just be like an officer if he's just sitting there and says, "Hey, that sign looks kind of bright. Let me measure where that's at." And they are supposed to help out with compliance issues where they can. So
I assume with the submittal, they would need to include a spec for the particular
Yes.
sign that at least proves that it's capable of the 750
yes, sir.
dimming and all.
Mhm.
Makes sense. Okay.
And then, like I said, just moving forward, the next section is pretty heavy because it's all the different sign types. So I think I'm going to split it down the middle, and then we'll go over a few one meeting, and then the other few following that, just so it's not too much information at one time. But besides that, I don't have anything else for signs and signage.
Okay. Any other discussion or questions on this item?
I do not.
I don't have anything.
All right. And you have all the direction you need from us, which is really nothing.
Yeah.
At this point.
Yeah.
Good job.
You're doing
Pat
great.
on the back.
You're doing great.
All right, we'll move on to discussion item 5B, discussion to establish a definition and use classifications for game room establishments.
Okay, I'm going to start off by asking the Planning and Zoning Commission to not discuss this item tonight and that there will be no action on it. So just to let this one go. So if y'all are okay with that, I mean, I could answer maybe a little bit of questions, but there's really no need to discuss it. So.
And the reasoning for that is that it was determined after the posting of this agenda that code covers.
Yeah, that it's felt that the existing code already covers this kind of classification of establishment.
So they're saying it falls. It falls. Don't have to deal with that. And the answer was it falls into one of those categories.
Yeah, I think it was amusement indoor, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Yeah. So after doing a little bit of further review and then talking with mayor and talking with the attorney, they feel like it falls within that classification. So really, there's no need to discuss this at this point, unless y'all see a need to discuss it in the future. Then we'll put it on a future agenda. But this was since staff brought it to y'all's attention. I mean, if y'all have no issues, I have no issues. So, yeah.
Okay. I think I'm good with Ellen. Any other questions on that? All right. So next, item 6, discussion on future agenda items.
Okay, so I have
Signage ordinance.
So the next section of the signage ordinance, I already have that on there. Actually, and I think at the next meeting, we're going to probably discuss parkland dedication again. I think we'll be at a good spot at that point. I'm sorry, I know it's taken a little bit of time, but just with summer and travel, it's been a little bit hectic. But I am hoping to get that to y'all again at the next meeting.
Okay. Right. Do you guys have any other items that come to mind that you want to explore, get on the next agenda or discuss?
I haven't gotten any phone calls.
Councilwoman Solis, have you had any phone calls that bring any items to your concern?
No, not specifically for planning and zoning, so.
Okay.
Okay, I think we know what to expect next meeting then.
All right, sounds good,
All
guys. Well, just one more thing. As y'all
Yeah.
know, it's just the three of y'all. So if you're not going to, unless Marcus reapplies, so right now we are down to just the three of you. So if you're not going to make a meeting,
Oh,
please just
yeah,
let me know in advance, so we just can send it out there that we don't have a quorum. Okay?
And so as we sit now, if it is just a 3, that's not enough for a special call meeting.
No, so it will always have to be at 6:30 on the Wednesday assigned to us, second Wednesday of the month. Besides that, we cannot have another time or day or anything because a special club meeting requires 4 attendees. So
Okay. But we can still go on with regular meetings.
that's correct.
So if you have any friends you can blackmail into joining, it's time to do it.
Hey, I keep trying to convince the other half of my household, but I don't know how that would work. Board members in the same household.
We've had 2 on Historic Landmark Commission, and they did not always have the same opinion.
Yeah, well, exactly.
Yeah.
To watch those discussions.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Yeah, the offline discussions would come under the closed meetings.
Choose chairs wisely.
All right. With that, then we'll move on to item 7, which is to adjourn at 6:48 p.m.
68. All right.